Prince Ikud.
My name
This is a recent case for Tinubu Shetima 2027. And if you stick with me, I'm going to bring you some highlights.
This is not a campaign speech.
This is not an attack on any opposition.
Prince
This also
Ikud
is not a blind endorsement. Stick with me, it's getting interesting. About continuity, leadership choices, and national stability, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with me, it's getting more interesting. Some Nigerians may reasonably support the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima. Democracy works best when citizens decide with clarity, not noise. Truth is, every nation faces a recurring dilemma. Should we reset or do we consolidate? Well, Nigeria is in a phase today of deep structural adjustment. Economic reforms, subsidy removal, and exchange rate correction. These are not cosmetic changes. They are painful long-term decisions whose benefits are rarely immediate. History, both globally and locally, shows that half-finished reforms often create more damages than completed ones. Therefore, supporting Tinubu Shettima in 2027 for many Nigerians is less about personalities and more about allowing a policy cycle to mature. Where do you stand? Whose side are you? Stopping a reform midstream does not spare pain. It only postpones progress. Think. Okay, let's talk about typical experience in complex governance. First, Nigeria is not an entry-level country to govern. Don't forget this truth. It is large, diverse, and fragile in parts, and deeply interconnected. Security and economy, politics, and social cohesion. All of these overlap. May I submit to you that here, leadership requires institutional memory and political skill. This can never be compromised. Now, guess what? President Tinubu brings decades of political and executive experience, especially in managing complex coalition and economic systems. On the other hand, Vice President Kashim Shettima brings powerful understanding on security challenges firsthand and sub-national complex governance under pressure. You cannot beat this amazing team, Nigerians. That's why supporters argue this combination offers governance depth, not experimentation at a time when the margin for error is thin. Security and national stability. Ladies and gentlemen, no government solves security challenges overnight. Never. But consistency matters. Terrorism, banditry, regional instability are not isolated problems. They require coordinated intelligence, military reform, and diplomacy, local engagement over time. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I know you're going to support President Tinubu and Kashim Shettima 2027. I know that's what you're thinking right now. Because you never realized all the things I said until now. One argument for continuity is that security architecture improves through learning curve. It is true. Let me say that leadership changes often reset strategies, disrupt chains of command, and slow down momentum. That's what it does. And we don't want to afford that luxury in 2027. We must bring back Tinubu Shettima in 2027. So, for Nigerians who prioritize stability over spectacle, and so for Nigerians who are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima in 2027, can be seen as incremental control over disruptive changes. Economic control, not denial. It will be dishonest to deny economic hardship. Nigerians feel it daily. But a fair assessment separates policy intent from policy impact timelines. They are different, they are not the same. I'll explain in a moment. Therefore, supporters of Tinubu Shetima 2027 point to a shift towards market realism, revenue expansion, infrastructure financing, and reduced dependency on fiscal illusions. The argument is not that life is easy, but that the direction is clearer than before. Re-electing the same administration gives Nigerians the ability to judge outcomes over a full reform cycle. Not fragments. Not fragments. May I submit to you that accountability is strongest when leaders are seen through to the end of their plans, not ousted out of office based on sentiments and institutions. Let's talk about democracy. In mature democracies, re-election is not automatic, but neither is constant disruption. Sometimes supporting an incumbent is a statement that institutions matter more than emotions, not in moments of anger or frustration alone. And that democracy includes the patience to evaluate leadership over time. Correct me if I'm wrong. This does not silence opposition, it strengthens choice. Supporting Tinubu Shetima in 2027 does not mean ignoring flaws. No, it doesn't. It means weighing continuity against uncertainty, experience against experimentation, and completion against interruption. Ultimately, the decision belongs to Nigerians freely, thoughtfully, and peacefully. In a nutshell, I am optimistic that with this exposition, you have been able to make up your mind to support Tinubu Shetima come 2027. I am Tinubu Shetima, ambassador. Even though I'm a member of NOSCAN support group, the one-stop support group that is bringing back Mr. President and the Vice President in 2027. You don't have to wait. Join us today. My name is Prince Ikut. I'm former presidential aspirant in this great country. I love Tinubu and I love Shetima. This is not about party, it's about continuity. Thank you and see you on the next one.